Welcome to a new episode of the TV Watercooler podcast. Today I'm joined by the Young and the Restless star Nathan Owens. Have a listen. I want to get right into going back to 2012. You got your start playing Cameron on Days of Our Lives. How did
Mm,
that experience prepare you for your future roles? And then now at YNR, did anything you did back then kind of, still resonate with you?
100%, 100%. For that being the first theatrical job that I ever had, like I've done commercials prior to that, but that being the first theatrical job I ever had, it really, not only theatrical, it was daytime soap is a whole nother world.
Yeah.
It's there's an intensity to it, and and there's so much that you need to know, and there's so many words and so many different scenes and all of this stuff. It kind of they throw it at you and they move so quickly that it was a great, I like to say, like a training ground for anything that came after that too. Because generally, and not to say that, at any other level is easier, but unlike the sitcoms or the other shows that I went on to, you had way more prep time, and maybe there's so many more shots. You can like go from the wide, and then you go in, and then you go from the angle, then you go your coverage, their coverage. So it was more so. It really taught me one how to memorize lines quickly, and how to get it in there fast, and like and different tricks in order to kind of get those lines into your brain as well as quick as you could. And then on top of that too, yeah, just yeah, trusting your intuitions, and on the acting tip going that way.
Now,
Trusting those intuitions going forward.
okay. Now, was there anyone there that you remember gave you any advice, or did you stay close to anyone from that time?
Yeah, yeah. Casey, Diedrich, Kate Manzi. I spoke with him at length quite often, actually, too. We hung out outside of there. Trying to think of who else. But yeah, there was a group of us that was around the same age that
Okay.
we all hung out. And we gave each other little tidbits of information there. And me being so green, they kind of helped me along as well too. And there was an on set acting coach too that would help us out. So. Excuse me, I've lost my voice a little bit yesterday, so it's a little out. But yeah, there
Yeah.
was little tips and tricks to kind of what other people use that they would show me or do in their practice in order to do a better job on set. One of which is honestly just like taping yourself at a certain point once you get the lines down and stuff like that. I was like, oh yeah, taping yourself. Like I don't always tape myself. Like something that simple, but when you're starting, you're like, okay, cool, good call. Just so you see how you act and what your mannerisms are and all of these other little nuanced things that you can't really tell until you see yourself on camera.
Great. So that was a great training ground. Now, it was
Mhm.
exactly a year ago this week that it was announced that you were joining YNR. What's this year?
Dang.
Yeah, what's this year been like for you?
Dang, it has been a year. Honestly, it's gone by so quickly.
Yeah.
It's gone by so freaking quickly, but it's been great. I think I had a good amount of introduction to other characters. I got to work with a good amount of other characters throughout different storylines. And truthfully, the first, I would say 6 to 8 months, you kind of just get used to just how the flow of things. You know what I mean? Like nerves start to dissipate after about 6 or 8 months in a good way. Like you
Yeah.
want to have at least a good amount of nerves to kind of go into something with a little bit of energy to it, at least in my experience. But those you start to settle in at a certain point, and I think that's one thing that I'm in this first year that I've noticed. Um, Very simple stuff like just finding your way around the studio. You know where things are. You know how to get here. There were so many times I didn't know where the hell I was going to. I'd go to the wrong stage and they're like, no, wait, you're all the way over there. I'm like, I don't even know where to go. But so that takes a little bit of like the mapping, the spatial awareness and of how to get to this point or that point. But yeah, there's overall comfortability in the first year. That's crazy that this is it. This is the
Yeah.
exact week. But yeah, and then just knowing people, getting to know the other cast members and stuff like that has been awesome.
Nice. Now, Holden, your character came to Genoa City under some shady circumstances. He
You
was
did.
pretending to be Damien. How much did you know about that when you first joined? Were they like, listen, you're actually Holden pretending to be Damien, or did you think that you were Damien?
I originally auditioned as Damien, and they ended up going with another actor, Jermaine, which is great for him for that role. And then they hit me up and were like, "Hey, you know what? will you be interested in playing his like kind of right hand man? You know, you're gonna go into the city posing as him, just trying to get some recon on this this business venture or some information to take back to him. I was like, cool, that sounds good. Let's do it. And so that was pretty much it though. And then from there, they're like, you just, do whatever you think you want to do. So I was like, okay, cool.
Now, Holden's brought out this really fun side from Claire. What's it been like acting opposite Haley Aaron these past couple of years?
Haley's awesome, man. We got along immediately. Immediately. I think we both have a good sense of humor, and I, I love sense of humor. It's something that I grew up with. All my friends are. I'm sure everyone says, "Oh, my friends are the funniest," but like, I think my friends are very funny, and like, my family, we all have that in our family. In our household's always been sense of humor, and so when we arrived on set together, that was kind of the first thing that we connected on, we bonded on, and yeah, she's a great energy too, just a really solid energy, always good and helpful when it comes to like if we want to read something, go through something. However many times you need to do it, she's willing to participate and be there. And also, she keeps me on my toes a little bit too. So, which is what you want in this scenario.
For sure, for sure. Now Holden told Claire his big secret with Audra. And Claire herself admitted that she's done far worse things than, taking a cut of a check. Do you think there's more that Holden's hiding from her, or is that it? Or is he like completely honest with her now? Yeah.
Um, I think that this scenario that he's mentioned to Claire is it's cloaked in a lot of mystery.
Okay.
And I think it could be a little deeper than what's even been revealed so far.
All
It's
right.
possible. And
Okay.
I think that's a part of who kind of Holden is. There's a good percentage of mystery that he holds just
Yeah.
as himself. And I think he kind of likes that. Like he lives in that space and kind of enjoys that space, especially yeah, he lives in that space. And yes, so if I were to answer that question, I would say it's possible there's more there. It's
Okay.
possible there's a lot more there.
We'll try to dig into that later on. But
Hmm.
um, like you said, for the first 8 months, you were, possibly in this, wouldn't say full on love triangle, but there's the Lily and Damien aspect. And now
Right.
you're with Claire, who sort of still has something going on with Kyle.
Correct.
And then you add Audra into the mix. So like now it's a square. But now Noah's back in Genoa City,
Yeah.
and you also have a history with Sienna. So it's like all six of you guys, very
Hmm.
messy. What can you preview?
Okay. What can I preview with regard to that? I think that there's gonna be some bumps and bruises along the way. Um, there's gonna be some revelations. There's going to be There's going to be some some interesting twists and turns with every single person that you just mentioned there, and maybe even new ones. Who
Okay.
knows? You know what
Mhm.
I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe people you haven't mentioned. So, but yeah, the web that's being created in that world and those relationships is, in my theory, I believe it's just beginning to expand.
All right.
Yeah.
Are you hoping that Holden finally gets the girl, whether it's Claire, Audra, Sienna, Lily?
Wait,
What?
what do you think? I'm sorry. What was the question again?
Do you hope that he finally, gets the girl this time?
I
Whether
hope so.
any
Shoot.
one of, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think at the crux at the heart of it all, I think Holden's he's a good guy. There's a romantic side of him. There's a heart in there. You know what I mean? Like he's a guy that's been through a lot of different things in his life, but I think there's a core to Holden, the character, that is there's an honesty in there, and there is a yearning for something more, you know? Um, and that more could be romantically. And I hope for his sake that it is that, and yeah, we'll see. We'll
It,
see.
do you,
I don't know
no,
who is the
you don't
best
know.
fit, but
Okay.
yeah, we will see.
It's good to have options, right?
I'm trying to tiptoe around it.
No, that's perfect answer.
Yeah.
No. Who amongst the cast do you think you've grown with the most or closest with this past year?
Closest with, I would say it would have to be between Haley or Suleika, probably.
Yeah, yeah,
Just because I work with them so often, and yeah, we've been on set so many times, we've worked on stuff so many times, and laughed so many times.
yeah.
The bonding chemicals, the oxytocin, and all that stuff is involved in those type of situations. So yeah, I would say probably between those, one of those two, for sure.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, before I let you go, like we said, Holden's past still has to, there's a lot that could be revealed. Is there anything in particular, this being a soap, that you would love for the writers to explore? Perhaps, more of his backstory, his family, why he's in Genoa City, like what drew him to like this fresh start, other than,
Yeah,
coming in under different circumstances.
I would like to dive a little bit more into Holden's backstory as far as like what did happen with his family, and then also what's to come in Genoa City for him. Like, what's the next iteration of professionally as well too, not
Yeah,
just in a
yeah,
romantic sense. Like, I'm curious what angle, you know, they want, the powers that be want Holden to go. You know what I mean? And then
yeah.
yes, of course, yeah, like I said, the backstory for sure.
When they added that line, or when that they reveal that connection between Holden and Audra, did you go, wait a minute here, what's going on? Was that very intriguing to find that out?
I thought it was awesome. I
Yeah,
thought it was awesome. It adds another layer to everything for her and
yeah,
for me as well too. And then just as an actor too, it adds a layer of, you know, uh, when you have to be aware of that it's underneath in your context of what you're saying in the dialogue too. So there's always a little something else you can play just as an actor because you have that relationship or that past relationship, whether it's a wink without anybody else seeing, or what, you know what I mean? Like, there could be little subtleties that are like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. Like that Leonardo DiCaprio one where he goes, that one, that very
yeah, yeah,
famous gif or whatever. Yeah, it's like that. If you know, like, oh wait, you gave her a little wink, huh? You wouldn't do that if you weren't that, at least I wouldn't do that if I didn't have some history with somebody.
right. Right. Um, it's been a great year for you, obviously in Genoa City. Can't wait to see what's next for you and your character. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
Honestly, thank you for having me. I appreciate that. And thank you for watching.